The unthinkable has happened. Doro44 and MrPokke, our very own knights in corporate armor, are out here victim blaming consumers and defending Hoyoverse. How did we get here? Why are content creators who thrived on community support now turning against the very people who built them up? Well, let's walk through this very messy pile of dookie because I am just as confused as you are, and maybe even more disappointed than ever. But before that, let's set the stage here. In case you've somehow missed it, the FTC just handed Genshin Impact developers a nice fat $20 million fine. Why? Because Hoyoverse decided to turn a game into a predatory playground, targeting kids and playing fast and loose with their wallet and personal data. Well, I'd imagine they wouldn't be a billion-dollar company without stooping this low, but I digress. Hoyoverse made it ridiculously easy for these people to spend money on their games without so much as a whisper of parental consent. Kids were burning through hundreds, even thousands of dollars on a PNG of a character and a weapon that were deliberately designed to bait them. And the worst part? The odds of actually getting those rare characters were about as slim as getting an apology from a narcissist. But we all know this by now, right? We're gacha players. Well, not the parents. Hoyoverse didn't stop there though. They decided to collect personal data from kids without the parental permission, which is a direct violation of COPPA. User IDs, device information, even friends lists, all handed over to advertisers like it was a casual group chat. This wasn't just shady, this was straight up illegal. So finally, the government decided to step in and say that enough is enough. And while 20 million doubloons might be pocket change for a company as massive as Hoyoverse, it is still a win for the players. It is a signal that these predatory mechanics aren't going to fly forever. Now let me give credit where it's due. One creator actually approached this issue with the nuance it deserves. Tectone. In his video, Tectone broke down the predatory nature of gacha games with a mix of clarity and brutal honesty. He didn't sugarcoat anything, but he also made the issue digestible for anyone watching.
Why do you think I remind everybody at max you can be spending upwards of $300 just to guarantee one unit? Making consumers aware of how much they're spending is very important to me as a guy who has destroyed his life by being unaware of how much I was truly spending.
What I appreciated most is that he didn't villainize the players. He called out the systems for what they are: manipulative, exploitative, and decide to keep you spending. He provided real examples and made his arguments easy to follow. That was the kind of video that should have put this issue to rest. And honestly, I thought it did. I watched the video, nodded along, and I thought, well, there's that, and the community's informed, and we gotta move on. I don't gotta make a video on it. And then, like an absolute idiot, I opened Twitter, and oh boy, what I found there was enough to make me question my entire existence. Turns out, not everyone in the creator space is interested in holding these companies accountable. Enter Doro44 with this absolute gem of a take. Not to defend the billion-dollar company, but if you're letting your kids spend money in a gacha game, that's bad parenting. I'm not sorry.
I dislike
manipulation
as much as the next guy. Yeah, that's some bad stuff. Boo! Don't like it. But
the take was basically, it's not the company's fault for designing a system that preys on ignorance and addiction. It's your fault for not outsmarting them. Well, Doro44, you gave me the bullet and now let me shoot the target, which is the apple on top of your head. So let's walk through the Google Play page for Genshin Impact. Straight off the bat, you see in-app purchases. But hey, 99% of games nowadays have that. Even Candy Crush has it. So most people are just gonna ignore that, right? And then they see that it's rated for 12+, meaning that it's a kid's game. And then you see these animations, ooh, very cool, colorful, and it looks like it's a fighting game, the elderly thinks. They scroll down and look at the tags. Oh wow, top 4 adventure game, action role-playing, anime fantasy isekai explorer. Oh my god, where does it say gacha games? Well, okay, so the parent reading this is probably not gonna know anything predatory, right? Well, let me know more about the game. Now, I'm not gonna read all that, but in case some people do read these, let's look for some keywords. Gacha, oh, no gacha. Gambling, pity, loot box. Oh, so no mention of it at all in the Google Play page. So basically, even if the parents look through this essay, they still wouldn't know about the predatory practices. Now let's see the data safety. It's really interesting how they collect financial information too. I wonder what this is for. Don't you think it's for, you know, making it easier for you to spend more? So now, do they tell you upfront that their systems are basically glorified gambling? No. Do they mention the addictive mechanics, the sky-high price points, or the emotional manipulation that's baked into every banner? No. Instead, they give you colorful, cartoonish visuals, slap a 12+ age rating on it, and write a vague description like, explore a magical world with your friends. It's like slapping a smiley face sticker on a slot machine. Now imagine you're a parent who knows nothing about the game. You see these visuals, you check the rating, and you read the description that sounds more like Disney movie than a mobile game. Of course you think, oh, this seems harmless. My kid can play this. And suddenly your kid is asking for more Primo Gems or Crystal because the card got declined. And you're $1,000 in the hole before you even realize what happened. Do you see the flaw in your logic? I hope so. I really really do. Now let's go back to Twitter because here comes MrPokke, the LeBron James of defending Hoyoverse.
Your baby's gonna choke on a toy. It was a stupid baby anyway. Like, don't take the toys out of my Kinder Egg.
When you read the tweet, you might think that it makes sense. Well, yes, there is some truth to it, but let me tell you how MrPokke is either just wrong or lacks information. All right, let's paint the picture. I am so hyped for the new character, but oh no, I'm out of in-game currency. What do I do? And when I push buttons, I immediately get to the crystal top-up page. All right, then let's just top up then, right? Now look at that. My credit card is already linked. One click and boom. I just spent real money. Did you catch how effortless that was? I didn't need a password, an extra step, nothing. That's how easy it is to spend money in this game. Now imagine a kid in this scenario using a parent's phone where the credit card is already linked to the Google Play Store or an Apple App Store. Kids don't understand money the way adults do, and these games sure aren't making it any harder for them to spend. Well, I guess that's just a lapse in judgment, right? But here's the thing, MrPokke. You should have known that it's that easy to get in-game currency because you've wailed on these games multiple times. So you, of all people, should understand how frictionless and dangerously simple this process is. But here's what made me lose faith in humanity. The comments. The flood of people agreeing, doubling down, and even taking it further to these takes. We are simping for 𝗖𝗿𝗵𝗵𝗁. Oh my god. And I can't stress this enough. I felt sick, like genuinely nauseous. I felt like I want to vomit. I am baffled. Watching these grown-ass adults defend predatory systems in real time felt like I was getting cut. I feel so disgusted, bro. But then finally, some sanity in this conversation. Thank God for creators like 𝗖𝗍𝗍𝗵𝗁 who decided to actually focus on the real issue. It's not about bad parenting. It's about how these companies deliberately design their games to exploit ignorance. This isn't an accident. This is the plan. Gacha companies rely on the gap in knowledge to rope in kids and by extension, their parents' wallets. They design their games to be just vague enough to avoid raising red flags until it's too late. The real thing is that the industry knows parents don't understand these systems, and instead of being transparent, they double down on keeping it that way. So when creators like Doro44 and MrPokke say, well, just be a better parent, skill issue, parenting issue, it's not only ignorant, it's downright insulting. This isn't about parents being careless. It's about these systems being engineered to exploit people who don't know better. These games are practically designed to be predatory, and instead of holding the companies accountable, you are out here blaming the victims. Bravo, guys, stellar work. Oh my god, you're doing an amazing job at being a dumbass. At this point, if you're a creator who can't see that, or worse, chooses to ignore it, you are not just missing the point, you are part of the problem. Since when did content creators, the very people who thrive because of their communities, decide that siding with the billion-dollar company was the hill they wanted to die on? Like, what are you even gaining from this? Seriously, who are you trying to impress? Because it sure as hell isn't the players who made your platform what it is. Let's not forget that content creators are supposed to represent. You keep us hyped during the slow patches when nothing exciting is happening in the game. You're the reason players stick around, eagerly waiting for the next update or banner. You bring personality, energy, and fun to the grind. Without these content creators, half of these games would lose their staying power rapidly. So imagine the disappointment when the same people we look for passion and relatability are suddenly turning around and saying, actually, it's the players' fault that these systems screw them. Excuse me? You're not just missing the mark, you're straight up betraying the audience that built you up. The audience that trusted you to speak for them, not down to them. And for what? A pat on the back from 𝗖𝗍𝗵𝗵𝗁? A feature on its trailers? Because let's be honest, these companies don't care about you. They don't care about your content. They don't care about your well-being. They don't care about how funny you are. The only reason they even acknowledge creators is because you bring attention to their game. But the moment you stop being useful, you will be treated like the rest of us, just another number in their revenue reports. They will cut you off like they did to 𝗏𝗏𝗏. They'll ghost you, and they will never tell you why, and you're just gonna be left in the dust, while other content creators are now getting the early access that you will never get again. It be your own damn people, man. Your own colleagues. Are we not fighting for the same cause? To make these games better, more enjoyable, and less exploitative? Or is that just too much to ask now? Because if you're out here defending billion-dollar companies instead of standing up for your own community, then what's the point? At the end of the day, man, we need to remember this. The community is what gives these games life, not the corporations, not the billion-dollar marketing campaigns. It's the community. Remember your damn role. We are here to entertain, inform, and fight for better, not to shill for billion-dollar fucking companies.